This is Smarter San Diego TV.
Our next guest is one of the most patriotic people we know here at Smarter San Diego.
You know, we're going to talk a little bit about Colin Kaepernick and whether or not his message is effective. We're going to talk about respecting the American flag. We're going to talk about liberty and that this is a great country, and I'm proud to be an American.
Please welcome back former Navy SEAL and veteran advocate, Andrew Paul.
Andrew, what's up,
Hey,
buddy?
man.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Aaron, good to see you.
You too, man.
A lot of stuff going on, obviously. One thing that in particular has been circulating around the news, has caused a lot of ruckus, has really taken the nation's attention, is a football player who decided not to stand for the national anthem. Obviously, I have to ask you about that as someone who's defended the flag on foreign soil, how you feel about something like that because of the obvious implications of what the flag represents. So how do you feel as someone who served the country when you see something like that?
Who are we talking about again here?
Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick. Never heard of her. You know, obviously being a guy who stands for liberty, which is a huge passion of mine, is liberty, and having fought for freedom and for liberty, the hard part about this is that he absolutely has the right to express his First Amendment protected constitutional right to, hey, burn the flag if he wants to, not stand for it, etc. So I support that aspect of it, but he's a douchebag for doing it. And I get a vote too, and that's my opinion. I don't like him. I think what he's doing is disrespectful. And the hard part about this too, though, is if you get past all the hoopla about the flag and is he a patriot and is he anti-American or all, get through all of that, if you hear the message that he's trying to bring to the forefront, what he's trying to talk about, I know what he's trying to do, and he actually makes some good points about law enforcement and policing and the poor relationship between some police departments and some communities. But as I've said before, the way he's doing it is marginalizing his message. Instead of talking about the message that he wants to talk about, we're busy talking about the fact that, in my opinion, I shouldn't say the fact that in my opinion, he's a douchebag.
Well, there's a couple of things that are going on. There are a lot of people in the marketing world who are saying, it's genius. Look, he's got everybody talking about him. We're sitting here talking about him right now,
Right.
which helps drive more people to pay attention. I mean, if you really wanted to do something to get everyone's attention,
Yep.
do something outlandish,
Sure.
then this would be something to do. And now more attention has been brought to the issue at hand. What would you say to those people?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But just because you can do something to draw attention doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. And you know, somebody would probably say that, you know, the ends justify the means. Like, in other words, you know, it was necessary for me to do something disrespectful, in my opinion, disrespectful to the American flag, something disrespectful to intentionally insult and incite the ire of so many people in order to bring attention to this issue. And he would say probably that the ends justify the means, and that's how he would justify it. You know, again, I think he's a douchebag.
Well, I tend to agree with you there, mostly because of the fact that from where I stand, the flag represents everybody, including him himself. Every single man, woman, and child in this country that has ever been a citizen of this country is represented by that flag, past, present, future. And to do anything that disrespects the flag is a big problem from where I stand. But there are a lot of people who are saying that, you know, he's done well with this message. In fact, people have now, someone has, one of his coaches knelt with him in the last game they had here right in San Diego.
Yeah.
There's a soccer player now, female soccer player, who's also taking a knee during the anthem. So I don't think there's a question about whether they have the legal right to do it or not. I think it's very clear. Everyone knows they're not getting in trouble for this. But I think there is a sort of a disconnect between people saying, oh, well, since they can't get in trouble for this, it must be right. And I think that's where we have a problem.
Yeah, and the hard part for a lot of people to understand, and it's hard when you're somebody who really believes strongly in liberty. You have to allow for people to exercise their rights even if you disagree with them, and that's what's going on here for me. For me, Colin Kaepernick absolutely has the First Amendment right to express his opinion in this way. And so I support the fact that he has that right, but I don't support that he's doing it. And we've talked about this before. And the problem also I find, Derek, is that he's out there saying that, oh, America is racist and we've got huge problems. You know something? Sure. America has got racists in it. So does every country on the planet. Every country on the planet has racism and has racial problems. But America, I would submit, has the environment, has the conditions, has the liberties, the freedoms, and the protections, and has the best opportunity of any country on the planet to vanquish racism. So to say that, like, oh, this country sucks because we have racists or something like that is ridiculous. I mean, no kidding, dude. I mean, you think it's any better anywhere else? It's not Nazi Germany. So no, you're not going to get arrested. You're not going to get persecuted for acting this way or expressing your right this way. But you're still a douchebag. I mean, that's ultimately the bottom line. But again, what I would tell you is that, so yes, we have racists in this country. So does every other country on the planet. And our country has got a dark past like many other countries, but we've also come a long way in a short amount of time. I mean, our country, relative to other countries in the world, is a very young country. And in a very short amount of time, we have made enormous strides in this country. We have a long way to go, but we also are a land of liberty that even allows for somebody to express their rights this way. This is a great country, not a perfect country, but a great one. We've come a long way, and we have a long way to go. And either way, I am still proud of this country. I'm proud of who we stand for, really, as a beacon of light in the world, warts and all. You don't have to say that you're proud to be an American and say that America is perfect. You can be proud of your country. You can be proud of America, and at the same time say, we've got room to grow. We've made mistakes in our past, and we've corrected those, and we've got more room to go. And I can still be proud of our country at the same time, and proud that we have a country and an environment where we even have the opportunity to continue to grow and to get better and better and better. You don't have that kind of growth opportunity in other countries, where you would be literally persecuted for saying anything bad against the government or a symbol of the country.
Which is interesting timing on his part to do this, because he's been in the NFL for a number of years. He was silent in the summer when a lot of things were going down. And, I mean, we have a minority president for the first time in our history.
Right.
He is a minority himself who makes tens of millions of dollars a year to throw a ball around.
Right.
And so to try to say that we have problems that are so bad that I'm going to essentially flip off the flag.
Yeah.
Things that are so bad here that I'm going to have to desecrate the symbol of the country.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. That just makes no sense at all. Mm-hmm. So here's something else that's happening, though. And we'll talk about maybe some things that he could have done differently. Maybe encourage some other people who are getting the same kind of crazy ideas to do some more constructive things. But there's a Facebook page that came up almost immediately after this started happening. I believe it was Veterans for Kaepernick is the name of the page. And this is a group of veterans who support Colin Kaepernick and what he is doing. They're behind him from this page. You go to the page and you can check it out. Obviously, those veterans have the right to feel that way, but I mean, is this really the reason? Because I hear vets say this, and it's okay. I mean, everyone has their own reason for wanting to go defend the flag, but is it really true? Is this what gets our soldiers and our sailors excited to go defend the flag, is to provide this type of right?
I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for every veteran, but I mean, I can speak for myself. I wanted to. I love our country. I was proud of our country, and I wanted to serve our country. Ultimately, I wanted to go into the military so that I could protect people who couldn't protect themselves. And that, may sound corny, but I wanted to have the opportunity to be able to step up and stand against evil in the world. And little by little, you find where that path is going to look like for you. I heard about the Navy SEALs. It looked like an awesome organization from what I could see from the outside as a young boy, teenager, and began to work towards trying to become a Navy SEAL, which was obviously a huge challenge, very difficult. Made it into the SEAL teams, had an amazing experience, had a great opportunity to go forward into battle and serve my country, on the battlefield. And not every person in the military does that. Not every person who wears a uniform fights in combat. Actually, a very, very, very small percentage of those in uniform actually fight in combat. But it's all part of the military organization. It's all part of the strategy, and it takes every single person in order to project America's power and to carry out our mission. For me, I wanted to fight in battle, and I got that opportunity. Now, when you start to do that, for me, again, I wanted to fight for liberty, for freedom, and for our country. And over time, you begin to understand more and more what that symbol of the American flag means. And so for me, that flag does represent liberty. It represents freedom. And when I see the flag and the anthem is playing, man, I actually get a little emotional. I'm proud of our country. My bedtime song to my children, to put them to bed when they were young, was I would sing the national anthem to them. I would sing the Star Spangled Banner, okay? And that was the bedtime song. 'Cause I didn't really know any other bedtime songs, but I knew that. And I would just sing it to them, put them to bed. So for me, it means a lot. But at the same time, my skin isn't so thin that Colin Kaepernick kneeling or sitting for the flag, like, I'm not losing any sleep over that douchebag. He's a douchebag. I could care less about him. What I think, though, is that if he wants to be effective, I'm not really interested in hearing from him now, right? I'm disgusted. Think about what we do with the flag. We salute the flag, we honor the flag, because it represents something much greater than all of us, liberty and freedom. And when our soldiers, sailors, Marines die, we drape their coffins with the casket. And so there is a symbol of honor that flag represents for someone like me. But you know what? Again, just in the vein of liberty, I do support his right to be able to express himself that way. But at the same time, my opinion is I'm disgusted by it. And it's not for me. It's not the ideals that I'm going to be teaching, to my children.
Let's talk about that, because a big thing for you is helping, to raise awareness about, hey, we have to raise the next generation of warriors. We have to raise the next generation of young men,
right?
Leaders. And, this guy has those young men's ears. They're watching him. He was a star quarterback, Super Bowl quarterback.
How's he doing now, by the way?
He's on the bench now.
Not really so well, is he?
Not doing so well now.
Kind of seems like this act was almost more one out of desperation, because he was fading off into the sunset, not so well anymore, right?
That could very well be the case.
Yeah.
And regardless of his motives,
you're right.
He has all these young children who look up to him, who idolize him, have pictures of him on their wall.
Right.
And then they see him go sit in the corner and sort of just be whiny about the whole situation. So, how would you approach, let's say you're one of your sons
Sure.
was a Colin Kaepernick fan. How would you explain this to them?
Great. That's a great question. First of all, when I look over at Colin Kaepernick sitting down and taking a knee, he literally looks like he's whining in the corner by himself. It doesn't look like he's standing with strength and honor, or that he's anybody who I particularly want to listen to. He looks like a whiner and a complainer through this. So I would tell my boys, okay, there's a lot of discussion and the limelight's on him right now, but he's marginalized his message. He doesn't sound like somebody who's respectful or well thought out when he's doing that. Now, when he does speak on camera, he is actually a pretty articulate man. He speaks pretty well.
Smart guy.
Yeah. But what I would tell my boys is that our country has always been a melting pot. People have immigrated to America for years and years because this has been a country that is the land of opportunity. We didn't say that it was perfect. We didn't say that the country doesn't have racists. We didn't say that the country is going to give everybody a free ride. It's opportunity, and you have to go out and get that opportunity. But you have that opportunity in America unlike any other country. I believe that America is the greatest country on earth, and I'm proud to be an American, warts and all. I would tell my boys, this is a great country. We have made mistakes in the past, and we still continue to make mistakes like any person or any organization. but we have a great country where we have the environment and the conditions, the liberties and the freedoms, where we can come together and unite to solve those problems together. And I would say that even if you're Republican or Democrat or black or white or poor or rich or whatever the case may be, my hope is that we can unite under the flag, under the ideals of freedom and liberty that America represents, and come together to solve our problems together. And so that hopefully can be the thing we can come together under. And so when you disrespect that, you start to create division. And then how do we go solving things divided? So that to me, can't we all get around the idea of liberty? Can't we all get around the idea of freedom? I mean, that to me is colorblind. I mean, so I know that some people's experiences in America have not been the same as others. I get that. But here is this ideal, this idea of liberty. If we can work towards it together, and that flag represents that idea, so let's all work together to improve and to make steps further and farther forward. And so I would tell my boys that we respect the flag. We honor the flag because it represents liberty. And although it's not a perfect country, it's still a great country, and we have a great opportunity to make things better.
But Dad, what if there's something going on in the world, in the country, that I really have a problem with? Mm-hmm. How would I go about creating awareness about it? Or what should I do differently than Colin Kaepernick did?
I believe that a lot of those things happen one-on-one relationships. You know, I had a great conversation with a friend of mine a few weeks ago who is on a different plane politically than me, different side of the aisle. And I don't really pick an aisle, really, but we definitely don't see things the same way. But over time, he and I have built such a great respect for one another. We were talking, and I was explaining something about the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms. And I explained about how, really, in my opinion, one of the strongest reasons that the Second Amendment exists is to keep a government in check so that the citizens will always have the power to have their liberty and their freedom. And then I brought up a topic that I didn't even really know that he was deeply passionate about, but it has to do with vaccinations in the state of California, forcing vaccinations into kids and things like that. And this guy has a child who has some challenges, and he is very anti-vaccine because of his beliefs on what those vaccines may have done or may continue to do to his kid. And I said, you know, so when a government is powerful enough to cross the line from, hey, you're not allowed to drink and drive, you're not allowed to speed, because those are all dangerous things we need to do, to now you must inject yourself with this, or your child with this serum that we say is good, and then it maybe turns out later that it's not. I mean, that is a government that is too powerful, that has that level of power. And so anyway, to answer your question, when I started to explain that's really one of the reasons, because he got very passionate. He was like, he goes, come on, come stick my kid with that, see what happens. I'm like, bet you wish you had a gun right now then, huh? So that you could protect your family. And like the light bulb went on for him with the Second Amendment. And so all of a sudden there was this respect. Now he and I don't see eye to eye on everything sort of politically, but I would say that, you know, when you build trust and you build respect and you build rapport, you can actually open up somebody who's of a different opinion to consider yours. But when you do something like a stunt like Colin Kaepernick is doing, all he's done is turned off all these other people who aren't interested in even hearing what he has to say now. He's pissed off so many people with these antics. They're not even sure what he's talking about anymore. All they see is this douchebag who's sitting and disrespecting the flag, and they're like, screw you, whatever. Now, granted, I would suggest to those people that, hey, try to look through this idiot's antics and hear what he's trying to say, because he may be making a good point. But the human nature is that he's just pissed off a ton of people, and none of those people are going to listen to him now. They're not interested in hearing what he has to say. So it's like what I've said in the past. You know, when you burn the flag or you do something like that, although yes, it's your constitutional right to do so, you marginalize your own message. You turn off people who might otherwise have been previously open to hearing what it is you have to say. So he's got a long road now to bridge the gap and to try and get these people to listen to him again. But many people like it or not, are done with him. They're not interested in what it is he has to say.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know what his message is.
Right.
Who are paying attention to this,
Right.
they don't even know what it is that he was protesting about.
Right.
And that's part of the issue when you lead with disrespect. If you're leading messages, disrespect, now you should listen to me, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, he could have been doing podcasts all summer, interviews on ESPN, so many different things. Then all of a sudden waits until all eyes are not on him, but they're in the vicinity to go do what he did. So I think that there's a lot to be learned from people who you have a beef with what's going down in the country. This is not the way to handle it. This is a surefire way to just get a whole lot of people to not listen to you. And what you said previously was perfect. I think unite under the flag. Say, hey, go out, walk out into the middle of the field where you're not even supposed to be and kiss the flag, and then have everyone ask you, what did you do that for?
Right. That'd be a great idea.
Do something like that instead.
Right.
And then now you're talking about uniting under the flag instead of dividing.
It's kind of like there was this bee's nest up in the corner, and he's like, we got this problem. So his idea was, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the bee's nest because that's going to solve it. And all he did is release the hornets or the bees, and they were all buzzing around, and you can't get them back into the nest, right?
Yeah.
You didn't kill them, you just pissed them off,
Good stuff, man.
I would tell people that who are upset or frustrated with their situation, educate themselves, learn how to speak articulately, learn how to make a logical argument and to persuade, and build others up and draw them in to hear what you have to say. Show them respect. That may open them up to show respect to what it is you have to say, and then you have an opportunity to perhaps influence their opinion.
Lead with respect.
Lead with respect.
Great stuff, Andrew. Thanks so much for your time today, man. Really appreciate it.
You got it.